Or no? Okay, Agata was stretching.
I was stretching. It's
are you
important
ready?
to stretch.
I'm gonna say in English. I'm gonna say in Portuguese, then you say in English. Live? We're live, Darim? Bom dia a todos! Mais uma. Não te rias, Berta, por favor. Estou a tentar dar aqui o meu melhor. Bom dia a todos aí desse lado de casa, ou que não estão em casa, ou estão no trabalho, ou estão podem estar onde quiser, na praia. Hoje vai estar um dia espetacular.
Também.
Mas perderam tempo para vir aqui ver mais uma sessão do What Would You Do. Não se esqueçam, e a Agata depois vai dizer em inglês, de subscrever o nosso canal do YouTube, clicar no sininho, colocar no like e desfrutar os nossos conteúdos digitais que nós temos aí. Bom, esta semana temos um back-to-back de dentisteria e prostodontia estética. A semana passada tivemos um caso de reabilitação funcional das zonas posteriores, mas esta semana vamos ter um caso provavelmente dos mais difíceis, que é a reabilitação do incisivo central. E para isso temos nada melhor do que a doutora Agata, que é uma... Bravo, palmas. Que é uma das pessoas que eu conheço que mais jeito tem para esta parte da dentisteria estética.
Bom,
e, portanto, vai ser com grande emoção que nós vamos estar aqui deste lado a ver o que é que se passa. A doutora Agata é da Polónia e, portanto, ela domina o português, mas para vocês tirarem o sumo desta apresentação, ela vai-vos falar em inglês. Agata is with the great honor that all the Academy, the International Advanced Dentistry, receives you to see and debate what is the correct option for this case. So, without further ado, the stage is all yours, and go! Big round of applause for Agata!
Wow, that was a big introduction. I was not prepared for such a big introduction.
Just
Thank
please
you.
say to subscribe the channel, okay?
Oh yeah, I will. Definitely I will do that. In the beginning and in the end, in the middle of the presentation. So thanks so much for the introduction. I could also present in Polish, as Andrzej said, but I don't know if we would have so many followers then, maybe only from Poland. So, welcome once again to everybody here and to everybody in the social media, everybody watching us on YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you like what we are sharing. Okay, so here we go again with our Tuesday, What Would You Do? Today is the number 9. So what do we do? What do we have today? We have a 24-year-old man that broke his tooth number 11 already 15 years ago. So in the meantime, the restoration was falling and chipping, and the restoration was replaced 6 times. The tooth is asymptomatic, and the restoration was never actually meeting the aesthetic expectations of the patients. So what would you do? We have some options. We have the option of 1 ceramic veneer. We have the option of 2 ceramic veneers in the central incisors. We have option of 4 ceramic veneers on central and lateral incisors. And we have a direct composite restoration choice. So what would you do? Let's see the results. So as we can see, the results are very even. We don't have a big winner here, so to say. So let's start and think, why is that? Why we have so many different options with a very big range of invasiveness, and why many of us would choose so many different options? Why do we have a difficulty in choosing the option of the treatment for this patient? So let's stop here for a while and think, what is it that we take under consideration choosing the option for this patient? So the first thing we would think about is the age of the patient. This patient is only 24 years old. So normally, the younger the patient, the less likely we should choose the more invasive treatments. Okay, so younger the patient, less invasive treatment. Next, very important, I would say crucial factor is the aesthetic expectations of this patient. So we should actually talk with the patient about his smile very thoroughly and understand what is it that the patient likes and dislikes exactly about his smile. Next thing, we should, of course, definitely analyze the function of the patient, the occlusion, but also let's analyze why did the restoration chip or fall over the time. And then choosing a proper treatment plan, we would wonder, okay, if I do the direct composite restoration, do I have enough manual skills to restore such a challenging tooth? As we can see, the tooth number 21, the adjacent tooth, is a very challenging tooth to copy. The same as if we went for a ceramic restoration, we would start wondering, does our lab technician have enough skills to restore such a tooth? Or maybe should we restore 2 teeth or even 4 teeth for keeping it more uniform and aesthetically nice? And the last but not the least, the invasiveness of the treatment. How much of the healthy enamel tissue are we able to sacrifice in order to reach a nice aesthetic outcome? So once again, let's go back to the results and see what did you choose. So more than 75% of you chose a ceramic restoration and not a direct composite restoration. Why is that? What are we afraid of? Even though it is, of course, as we know, more invasive treatment. So now the question is, what are we afraid of? Do we really need to be like impressionist masters to restore directly such a tooth?
La mise sous étoile de Saint-Rémy. The picture of Van Gogh. Okay,
He was Dutch.
He was Dutch, yeah, but he's Saint-Rémy.
Okay, so let's keep assessing the tooth. A part of, obviously, we have to characterize the tooth if we choose the direct composite restoration. What do we have here? Observing the old restoration and watching it from the occlusal plane, we can see the deviation of the incisal edge frontally. And why did it happen? I always try to see the old restoration and learn from them. So I try to imagine what kind of issues did the previous dentist have while elaborating the restoration. So what in my opinion could have happened here, which is the very common problem, is that the technique used for the restoring of the anterior tooth was a finger press technique. Yes, exactly. This is a funny name, and like for a long time,
That's my technique.
I didn't know it even had such a serious name, you know. But yeah, it has a name. It is a finger press technique. But what is an issue here? Well, in a very simple anatomy of the teeth, we can use this technique, and it's all good. It's all okay. But in a more complex anatomy, we shouldn't, because pressing with the finger from the back side, we cannot control and we cannot shape correctly the palatal wall. So what kind of issues do we have actually with this tooth? We not only have the difficult characteristic and a very complex anatomy, but we also have a more complex shape that we will have to restore. And now the question is, are we going to be able to restore both of these things in one time? I think not. It will be difficult. So let's keep assessing the tooth. I started with cutting off part of the old restoration to see when do we reach to more anatomical shapes of the tooth. So in this part, it was exactly how I supposed the lower third part of the crown that was not curved enough and shaped enough good. So cutting off the lower third part of the crown, we can observe that from the occlusal plane, we can already see more anatomical shapes of the tooth, and we are going back to its natural anatomy. So in this moment, I already knew that I have to do it somehow in 2 stages. First, to concentrate on the anatomy of the tooth, and only after focusing on the aesthetics. So I decided to make a provisional restoration, not concentrating at all on the aesthetics, only restoring the palatal wall. It was a freehand direct provisional restoration. And on this stage, what I focused on was the anatomical shape of the palate, proper length of the tooth, and the correct incisal edge shape. And what is interesting, that already at this point, even though only just some random composite was used, only restoring the anatomical shape of the tooth already significantly increased the aesthetics of the patient. I would say around 80% of aesthetics was already restored. So in this moment, it was time for taking an impression, silicone putty material. We take an impression in order to later copy the palatal shape. So from this moment, we already have the silicone index key ready. We can actually start to prepare for a definitive restoration. We place isolation accordingly, and we isolate the field with the rubber dam. And in this moment, we can remove all the provisional restoration, all the rest of the old restoration, and prepare accordingly the tooth. So from this moment, we take the silicone index and we restore the palatal shell. We don't have to worry anymore about the shape. The only thing we have to worry about now is the aesthetics. So we put a very thin layer of the palatal shell using only the enamel composite. And from this moment, we start layering the anatomical layers of the dentin of the body and enamel. So before we even started, it was chosen a good color of the body and the enamel composite. It wasn't easy, especially regarding to the color of the enamel, and not only the color, but actually the translucency. So the composite we chosen here was Empress Direct Enamel Trans 30, which is a very highly translucent composite. Okay, but you say this is the easy part. What about the more complex characteristics? So in case of this patient, the adjacent tooth, the 21, that we should actually copy and try to rebuild in the other tooth, it has blue, white, and amber stains on various depths of the tooth structure. And there are existing some materials that would help us with that. So I would use the IWS, which is intensive white spot, the opalescent amber, and the opalescent blue natural from enamel mycelium. But again, what about the conversation with the patient? What were the patient needs, and actually what does he and what doesn't he like about his smile? So talking with the patient actually didn't like the blueness and the bluish and the yellowish stains on his tooth. And the only thing he accepted to rebuild and to copy was just a little bit of white stains, because what he wanted was an overall effect of a more bright and more uniform and harmonious smile. So what I used here was a white stain from Empress Direct, and as I said, the highly translucent enamel not to cover the characteristic. And these are the final effects. So as we can see, the smile got more harmonious, it's brighter, and only with the use of a simple silicone index and the white stain, we were able to achieve good aesthetic and functional outcome in this patient. The patient was very glad and actually didn't want nothing more. This is the before and after, small change, but big for the patient. He even smiles more openly now. So as a conclusion, I would like to say that the tooth structure preservation is the best way to postpone more invasive therapies. And especially in young patients, more conservative techniques should be used. Bonded ceramic veneers is a very minimal invasive approach, but a direct composite is even less invasive. So as long as we can use it, we should. So I hope you liked it. If you like what we share, please again follow us, subscribe. Next Tuesday we are here again with another What Would You Do? And you are very invited. Thank you so much for your attention.
Bravo.